Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you looked yourself in the eyes in the mirror and said, I love you? Not a quick glance while brushing your teeth. I mean, really looked deep into your own eyes and said those three words with meaning. If you're squirming right now, good. That means we're on to something. Because here's what nobody tells you. The relationship you have with that person in the mirror, that's the blueprint for every single relationship in your life. Every rejection you've experienced, every door that's closed, every opportunity that slipped away, it all started there, in that reflection. But what if I told you that same mirror could become your greatest healer? That 5 minutes a day of looking into your own eyes could rewire decades of pain, trauma, and self-hatred? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might sound crazy. In fact, 40 years ago, it was considered crazy. But today, millions of people worldwide have used this exact practice to transform their lives completely. And the most beautiful part? You already have everything you need to start. Before we dive into the mirror work that changed my life, I need you to understand something fundamental about how life actually works. And it's the opposite of what most of us were taught. We live in a world obsessed with doing, pushing, achieving, grinding. We've been conditioned to believe that everything good must be earned through struggle, that rest is laziness, that receiving is somehow selfish or weak. I see this everywhere. People working themselves to exhaustion, mothers who can't accept help, professionals who refuse to delegate, friends who deflect every compliment. We've become masters at giving, but failures at receiving. And the irony? The more you close yourself off from receiving, the more depleted you become. You can't pour from an empty cup, but we try anyway, don't we? But here's the truth that took me decades to understand. Life itself is always offering. Think about it. Right now, this very moment, the sun is offering light. The trees are offering oxygen. The earth beneath you is offering support. Your lungs are receiving air without you having to think about it. Your heart is beating without your permission. Everything in nature receives effortlessly. The flower doesn't struggle to receive sunlight. The ocean doesn't resist the rivers flowing into it. Only humans have learned to close ourselves off from the natural flow of goodness. When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to receive? Not just things, but compliments, help, love, opportunities. How many times have you pushed away a kind word, rejected assistance because you should be able to handle it alone? Dismissed an opportunity because you felt you weren't ready or deserving? That resistance, that's not protecting you. It's blocking your blessings. So here's where we begin, with the simplest, most powerful statement you can make. I am open and receptive to all good. Say it with me right now, out loud if you can. I am open and receptive to all good. Feel how those words land in your body. Notice if your shoulders relax, if your breath deepens, if something inside you softens, just a little. This isn't just a pretty phrase. This is an energetic declaration. You're sending a signal to the universe, and more importantly, to your own subconscious mind that you're ready to receive. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is something most people don't realize until it changes their life. You are surrounded right now by an invisible energy field. Scientists call it your biofield. Some call it your aura. I call it your broadcast signal. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension, even though nobody said a word? Have you ever met someone and instantly felt comfortable or instantly felt uneasy? That's you reading their energy field. And here's the thing, You're broadcasting one too, right now, every single moment, every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you feel. It's all radiating outward from you like ripples in a pond. When you walk into a room, people feel it before you even speak. They're picking up on your frequency. I've tested this thousands of times. When I walk into a space feeling peaceful, open, and loving, people smile at me. Strangers strike up conversations. Doors open, literally and figuratively. But on days when I'm stressed, closed off, or fearful, people avoid eye contact. Service is slow. Nothing seems to work smoothly. Same person, same day, different broadcast. If your energy field is filled with doubt, fear, and resistance, the world mirrors that back to you. Doors close. People are guarded. Opportunities vanish. But when your field is filled with openness, trust, and receptivity, everything shifts. People soften around you. Synchronicities appear. Blessings flow from unexpected places. This is why affirmations are so powerful. They're not magical incantations. They're frequency adjusters. Every time you affirm, I am open and receptive to all good, you're tuning yourself like a radio dial. You're shifting from the station of lack and limitation to the station of abundance and possibility. And here's the scientific truth. The universe responds to the frequency you're broadcasting, not the frequency you wish you had, not the frequency you're pretending to have, the actual vibration you're emitting moment by moment. Let me give you an example. Two people apply for the same job, same qualifications, same resume, but one person walks in thinking, I probably won't get this, but I'll try. The other walks in thinking, something wonderful is about to happen. Who do you think gets hired? It's not magic, it's energy. The interviewer feels the difference, even if they can't articulate why. Think of affirmations as seeds. If you plant seeds of scarcity, I never have enough, nothing works for me, life is hard, then scarcity will grow. The soil of your subconscious doesn't judge. It simply grows what you plant. But if you plant seeds of abundance, I am open and receptive to all good, life supports me, blessings flow to me easily, then abundance blooms. Your words are creative forces. Every thought you think is creating your future. Every word you speak is shaping your reality. So let me ask you, what are you affirming daily, consciously or unconsciously? Listen to yourself today. Really listen. How many times do you say, I can't? How many times do you say, I'm so tired, or I'm so stressed, or nothing ever works out for me? Those aren't just words. They're orders you're placing with the universe, and the universe always delivers exactly what you order. But here's the problem. And this is where most people get stuck, even after they understand everything I've just shared. Even when you start affirming openness and receptivity, there's often something deeper blocking the flow, a wall you didn't even know you built. I call it resistance. Resistance is subtle. It hides in thoughts like, it can't be that easy, or people like me don't get those blessings. It's the automatic, I'm fine when someone offers help. It's the voice that says, I'm not ready when opportunity knocks. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with years ago. Beautiful, talented, kind. She came to me because she couldn't figure out why her life wasn't working. She said all the right affirmations. She visualized. She worked hard. But every time something good came her way, a compliment, a job offer, a date with someone who genuinely liked her, she found a way to dismiss it, deflect it, or sabotage it. The compliment wasn't genuine. The job probably won't work out. He's just being nice. He doesn't really like me. She didn't even realize she was doing it. Most of us learned resistance very young. Maybe you were told not to ask for too much, not to dream too big, not to believe that love, money or happiness could really be yours. Those words planted themselves deep in your subconscious, and over time, they grew into patterns. Maybe your parents said, money doesn't grow on trees every time you asked for something, or who do you think you are when you expressed a big dream, or don't get your hopes up when something exciting appeared on the horizon. They probably meant well. They were trying to protect you from disappointment, but what they actually taught you was to close yourself off from receiving. Then, years later, when life tries to hand you something beautiful, those old patterns whisper, don't trust it, don't believe it, don't open the door. I remember a man who attended one of my workshops, successful businessman, but deeply unhappy. He told me, Louise, I can make money, but I can't keep it. It always disappears. We dug deeper. Turns out, when he was 8 years old, his father lost everything in a business deal. The family went from comfortable to struggling overnight. His father, in his pain, kept saying, having money just means you'll lose it. Better not to have it at all. That 8-year-old boy heard that message, and for the next 40 years, every time he accumulated wealth, his subconscious found a way to get rid of it. Bad investments, impulsive purchases, helping people who never paid him back. He wasn't bad with money. He was obedient to an old program. But here's what I want you to understand. Resistance is not who you are. It's just a habit, and habits can be unlearned. The very moment you notice yourself resisting, you've already begun to loosen its grip. Imagine resistance like holding your breath. At first, you think you're protecting yourself, but soon it becomes uncomfortable, then painful. Eventually, you must let go, and the instant you exhale, relief washes over you. That release, that surrender, that's the antidote to resistance. Next time you catch yourself pushing away something good, pause. Just pause. Take a breath and say, I am willing to receive this. I am safe receiving this. You don't have to believe it fully yet. You just have to be willing. Willingness is the key that unlocks everything. Now I'm going to share with you the single most powerful affirmation I've ever taught. I've used it myself for over 40 years. I've taught it to millions of people, and I've watched it transform lives in ways that seem almost miraculous. But I need to warn you, the first time I suggest people use this affirmation, many of them resist. Some laugh nervously, others get angry, some even cry. Because this affirmation requires you to do something most people have never truly done. Declare that you are safe. Here it is. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I am safe. Now I can already hear some of you. Louise, you don't understand. All is not well. Everything is not working out. I do not feel safe. I know. And that's exactly why you need this affirmation. When you're in the middle of a crisis, financial, health, relationship, whatever it is, your mind is spinning. Fear is broadcasting loudly. That fear frequency is attracting more of what you're afraid of. This affirmation quiets your mind long enough for the universe to find a solution. Here's what I do. When a real problem hits, I repeat this affirmation incessantly, sometimes hundreds of times a day. I babble it like a mantra, because I know something that changed my life. If you say it enough times, it will become so. You'll be changing your thinking. You'll be changing the atmosphere around you. You'll be changing what you're broadcasting energetically. And yes, at first, the problem might still be terrible. You might not be able to do anything about it right now. But as you start to know that you are safe, that you're in a universe that loves you, something shifts. Let me tell you how I discovered this, because my story might help you believe it's possible for you too. My life was wonderful until I was about 18 months old. Then everything hit the fan. I had a brutal childhood, sexual abuse, violence, poverty, things I won't detail here because this isn't about reliving trauma, it's about healing from it. I grew up believing I was worthless, that I was no good, that everything terrible that happened was because I was bad. I carried enormous resentment, and I had no idea how my thinking was affecting my life. For decades, I attracted awful experiences to myself because awful is what I believed I deserved. I had failed relationships, jobs that didn't work out, health problems, and through all of it, I kept thinking, see, this is what I get. This is all I deserve. Then, at age 43, I heard someone say, if you're willing to change your thinking, you can change your life. And I thought, really? Is that even possible? It seemed too simple, but I was desperate enough to try. I started exploring. I found a book by Florence Scovel Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It, written in 1926, the same year I was born. That felt like a sign. She talked about affirmations, about how your thoughts create your reality, about how life is actually supporting you, not punishing you. Nobody understood that back then. I was one of the early crazy ones teaching this stuff. People thought I'd lost my mind, but I started practicing. I began with small things. I'd affirm that I'd get green lights while driving, that I'd find good parking spaces, and they started happening. Were they coincidences? Maybe. But the coincidences kept multiplying. The more I practiced, the more I studied, the more I was willing to forgive and have gratitude, the more my life changed. Then came the real test. I was diagnosed with cancer, vaginal cancer to be specific, and I knew immediately what had caused it. All those years of resentment, all that buried rage from the childhood abuse, all that hatred toward the people who hurt me, and toward myself for letting it happen. It had been eating away at me, literally, for decades. And in that moment, I had a choice. I could see myself as a victim of my body, of circumstances, of my past. Or I could see this as an invitation to heal at the deepest level. I chose healing. My doctors strongly recommended surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, the standard protocol. But something inside me said no. I knew that if I cut out the cancer without healing the cause, it would just come back. So I didn't do chemotherapy or radiation. Instead, I went inward. I used affirmations every single day, hundreds of times a day. I love and approve of myself. I forgive everyone who has ever hurt me. My body knows how to heal itself. I did visualization. I'd see the cancer cells in my body, and then I'd see white light dissolving them, washing them away. I'd see myself healthy, vibrant, whole. I worked with a therapist to process the trauma I'd buried for so long. That was hard, painful, but necessary, and I did massive forgiveness work. I forgave my stepfather who abused me. I forgave my mother who didn't protect me. I forgave the men who used me. I forgave the people who judged me. And hardest of all, I forgave myself. I forgave myself for believing I was worthless, for attracting harmful people, for staying in situations that hurt me, for all the years I wasted hating myself, because I realized something profound. I'd been holding on to resentment for decades. That resentment was literally eating away at me from the inside. Cancer was my body's way of saying, Louise, it's time to let this go. So I did. I let it all go. It wasn't instant. It took work, daily practice, commitment. Some days I wanted to give up. Some days I was terrified, but I kept going. 6 months later, I went back for a checkup. The cancer was gone, completely gone. My doctor was stunned. He called it spontaneous remission, a miracle. I called it the natural result of changing my consciousness. And that's when I knew, really knew, that this work was real, that our thoughts truly do create our reality, that healing is always possible when we're willing to go deep enough. Now, here's the practice that changed everything, the one that most people resist more than anything else I teach: mirror work. I want you to go to a mirror right now, not later, not when you finish reading this. Right now, look yourself in the eyes, really look, and say, I love you. If you can't do it, you've just discovered your biggest block. Most people cannot look themselves in the eyes and say, I love you, without crying, or laughing nervously, or immediately looking away. We can say it to partners, children, friends, even pets. But ourselves, that's the hardest person to love. Here's why this matters. You cannot give to others what you don't have for yourself. You cannot receive love from others if you don't believe you're worthy of your own love. Every relationship in your life is a mirror of your relationship with yourself. If you don't believe you're lovable, you'll either attract people who confirm that belief, or you'll push away people who genuinely love you because you don't trust it. If you don't respect yourself, you'll stay in situations where others disrespect you. If you don't value yourself, you'll accept far less than you deserve. When I first started mirror work, I couldn't do it either. I'd look in the mirror and think, how can I love you? Look at you. Look at all the terrible things you've done, all the mistakes you've made, all the ways you've failed. The criticism would pour out, every flaw, every failure, every reason I wasn't worthy. But I kept practicing. Every morning and every night, I'd look in my eyes and say, Louise, I love you. I really, really love you. At first, it felt like lying. The words caught in my throat. Sometimes I'd cry. Sometimes I'd get angry. But gradually something shifted. I started seeing myself differently, not as the broken, damaged person I'd believed I was, but as a human being doing her best, healing, growing, learning. The resistance softened, the walls came down, and eventually I meant it. That's when everything changed. The mirror became my healing place. Every morning I'd stand there and have a conversation with myself. I'd say, Good morning, Louise. I love you. Today is going to be a beautiful day. You are safe. You are supported. You are loved. On hard days, I'd say, I know things are difficult right now, but I'm here for you. We're going to get through this together. I love you. I started treating myself the way I would treat a beloved friend going through a hard time, with compassion, with patience, with kindness. And here's what happened. My health improved. My relationships transformed. Opportunities appeared. Money flowed more easily, not because the world changed, but because I changed. My broadcast signal changed, and life responded. I know some of you are thinking, but Louise, I've made real mistakes. I've hurt people. I've done things I'm ashamed of. How can I love myself knowing that? Here's what I learned. Self-love doesn't mean approving of every action you've ever taken. It means understanding that you did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. It means forgiving yourself for not knowing what you hadn't yet learned. It means recognizing that you are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are a soul having a human experience. You came here to learn and grow, and every mistake, every failure, every painful experience has been teaching you something. The question is, are you willing to let yourself learn from it, or will you keep punishing yourself for being human? Because here's the truth. The universe doesn't judge you. Life doesn't withhold love because you're imperfect. Only you do that. So the mirror work is really about removing the barrier you've placed between yourself and your own love. It's about looking at yourself, really seeing yourself, and choosing love anyway. not because you've earned it, not because you're perfect, not because you've achieved enough or healed enough or changed enough, but simply because you exist and your existence is worthy of love. Here's what happens when you start truly loving yourself, and this is the part that nobody tells you at the beginning. First, your energy changes. Remember that broadcast signal we talked about? It shifts from I'm not enough to I am worthy. And people around you feel that shift immediately. Strangers start being kinder. Service improves. People want to help you, not because you're manipulating anyone, but because you're no longer broadcasting, I don't deserve good treatment. Second, you stop accepting treatment that doesn't honor you. Toxic relationships start falling away naturally, not because you're pushing people away, but because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency that attracted them. That friend who only calls when she needs something, you suddenly don't have patience for it anymore. That job that undervalues you, you start looking for something better. That partner who dismisses your feelings, the relationship either transforms or ends. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to force any of it. When your internal relationship changes, your external relationships automatically realign. Third, opportunities start showing up. Because when you believe you're worthy, you stop talking yourself out of possibilities. You say yes to chances you would have dismissed before. Someone offers to introduce you to an important contact. Instead of thinking they probably don't really mean it, you say, thank you, I'd appreciate that. A position opens up at work. Instead of thinking I'm not qualified enough, you apply. An attractive person smiles at you. Instead of assuming they're looking at someone else, you smile back. You start living like someone who deserves good things. And the universe says, finally, let me send more your way. Fourth, and this is the most beautiful part, you become contagious. But here's what really shocked me after years of teaching this work. And if you've been following along, thinking, okay, Louise, this sounds nice for personal development, but how does this really change the world? Pay close attention to this next part, because when you heal yourself, you don't just change your own life, you become a beacon for everyone around you. Your healing gives others permission to heal. Your transformation shows others that transformation is possible. Your courage to look in the mirror and choose love, that inspires someone else to do the same. I've seen it happen thousands of times. Someone comes to one of my workshops. They learn mirror work. They practice it. Their life changes. Then they teach it to their sister, who teaches it to her daughter, who teaches it to her friend. One person's healing creates a ripple effect that touches hundreds, sometimes thousands of lives. This is how we change the world, not through grand gestures or perfect activism, but through one person at a time choosing to heal their relationship with themselves. When you live in openness and self-love, you remind others that they too can open. You show them it's safe. You prove it's possible. Because the truth is, most people are waiting for permission. They're waiting for someone to show them it can be done. They're waiting for proof that choosing love over fear actually works. You become that proof.